All right. Sorry about 3 videos today. But this is a question I wanted to put out there uh, for people who might be interested in this spin novel, which is a sci fi novel. And hopefully, if you haven't read it, I am on page 38 or something. And I still don't know what's going on, and I wanted to get your guesses. Now, if you didn't see my other video, they were looking up at the sky, these kids, and then all of a sudden the stars went out. Couldn't see the stars, and they thought, well, the sun's not going to come up maybe because that's a star. And then it eventually did, but at the end it kind of prefaces or it kind of says that, but was a it was a fake. It was a counterfeit sun. Now the second the second chapter kind of starts with them saying, people that are younger than us wonder why we didn't all freak out when this happened. But they would explain that it wasn't really this major event. It just sort of sun just or the stars just kind of left and it didn't come back. But you know, the weather was still basically the same. The sun was still kind of doing its thing, and it didn't seem like anything. It was kind of a frog in the water sort of thing, where it was in cold water and then slowly ratcheting it up. And they were explaining that even though people were concerned and trying to figure out if there's going to be any issues with this fact that they don't see the sun or the moon, by the way, they're wondering, is this going to be anything bad? And it didn't seem like that yet, unless you were a scientist and you were freaking out. But if you were like a bus driver or something, that's something for the eggheads to figure out. And so, yeah, so they can't see the moon. And even the sun, the scientists are realizing it doesn't have those dark patches. It's more like a perfectly round ball. It's not sending out little flares or anything like that. It's almost like a light bulb. And the climate and everything has been stabilized, either to maybe hide them from seeing something, is maybe what people figure, or hide others from seeing something on Earth. They don't know if it's aliens. They don't know if it's God. It's, people just don't really know what to make of it. And a couple years goes by, and eventually, after about 12 years, they get some answers and they start measuring the world in spin years. And as you can see, this will be backwards, but you can see how the stars and everything are spinning really, really quick. Now, another clue is that there were astronauts up, 3 Russian astronauts that were up in some station. Oh, yes, and satellites have fallen to the Earth. But there were 3 up there and during that event, and then it started to fall. They lost contact with their ground control, and then they decided to descend, and they descended too quickly. They lost an important parachute. 2 of them died. One of them stayed, one of them was still alive, but he went totally crazy, or at least everyone thinks he's totally crazy. And he was saying or something while they were up there, uh, they saw like a disc or something occlude the sun. Let me see if I can get this paragraph, because this was a tricky paragraph. This was, I wonder what you make of this. Colonel Glavin would eventually describe it just that way. As a blackness, an absence visible only when it occluded the sun, a permanent eclipse. The rapid orbital cycle of sunrise and sunset was their only convincing visual evidence that the Earth even existed any longer. Sunlight appeared abruptly from behind the silhouetted disk, cast no reflection in the darkness below, and vanished just as suddenly when the capsule slid into night. So it's like everything is sped up like crazy, but they can't see the moon and they can't see the sun. like they're in the, like on a top or something. I don't know. But everything beyond, which probably means that there's going to be a crazy difference in time on the outside, I would assume. Also, with the prologue being seeming to be way, way, way in the future, who knows? Maybe one day on Earth is thousands of years or something away. So, which was also another reason why I wanted to read this book. It seemed like, yeah. Anyway, something that a topic that I'm just personally interested in for something else. Anyway, I wonder what you think. What the heck do you think is going on here? There's other stuff happening with these three kids. The girl doesn't really care so much what's going on. The older boy and the younger boy are still they're still friends, and they go on this bike ride, and they trade bikes to go down this one, and the genius one has this rickety old bike going down this hill now, and it kind of falls apart, and he gets really injured, and then they get back home. He's all scuffed up, this genius boy, and the dad is kind of upset with this other boy, the friend, and it wasn't even his, but it was his bike. Or it wasn't even his fault, really, but it was his bike. The mom doesn't really care. She's drunk. And they say, if you're going to be friends with this guy, with our boy, it comes with some responsibilities. He is gifted. He has a big future ahead of him. And it's up to you to take care of him and see that this stuff isn't going to happen any longer with him, because he is our gifted son. Anyway, very interesting. And I don't think I will do a whole bunch of updates on this, because I don't want to flood people that aren't interested in this with, people are here for Malazan, I'm sure. And I will get back to that. But maybe I'll do a halfway thing with this, with how I feel, and maybe some more questions. But I wonder what you think is going on, because I have no idea. No idea. What would have, if it is spinning, what the heck caused it to do that? That's why I like this genre. Anyway, I'll talk to you on the next one.